Welcome to Beyond the Bubble podcast, featuring monthly talks and updates on Viking men's basketball, where they're at and what they're up to.
All right, welcome back to the Beyond the Bubble podcast. I have, for episode number 6, I have our, and I'm already going to mess it up, Director of Athletic Training, and Associate Athletic Director Anna Bratsch, and Kathleen Gallais. And you just told us how to pronunciate that. Can you tell everybody how to pronunciate your name one more time?
Yeah, I always tell people Gallais rhymes with ballet, like ballet dancing. The S at the end throws people off, so that's a good way to remember it.
And the reason I'm saying that is because one of my players is currently in your CPR class, and we were trying to figure out this morning where you were meeting and everything, and that it's a hybrid class, so he doesn't have to meet in class with you until September 7th, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we were looking up, and he's like telling me Kathleen Gallais or something like that. And so everybody out there that's going to listen to this, Kathleen is new to us this year, so it's Kathleen Gallais.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. And you played softball here, what years?
Yeah, I was here playing softball from 2014 to 2018.
Okay.
I graduated, yeah.
Okay. Some pretty good teams then too, right?
Yeah, actually, I was kind of right in the middle of the two conference championship wins, but we did have a few really good seasons while I was here. So
I do remember that.
And I took care of Kathleen.
You did.
As an athlete.
Yep.
You did. You've taken care of a lot of athletes.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, currently still.
Yes, we are quite busy. But Kathleen did play. When she played for us, I spent a lot of time with her, taking care of her as an athletic trainer, but also mentored Kathleen in the athletic training program.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So spent a lot of time with her.
Good. And I'm sorry, I probably messed up your title.
You did.
Okay, you want to tell everybody?
Director for sports medicine.
For sports medicine.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
my
it's
fault.
Fancier.
Yeah, right.
But associate AD would be.
And
correct.
you were assistant AD last year.
I was.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we did take a little bit of a jump over the last year.
Yeah.
And-
Kind of just putting Mac and I a little bit more in line with how we split some of the duties as far as more upper admin stuff. Like during the football season, I'm in cabinet. So football season's really busy for Mac, and I have a little bit more flexibility in my schedule to go ahead and go to some of those upper admin meetings and relay that message back to Mac and kind of be the in-between person. So just a little bit more responsibility on that end.
You're in the big meetings now.
I'm in the big meetings.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not going to ask you what goes on in those big meetings.
I probably couldn't even tell you
I
what goes
know.
on in those meetings.
But
I understand what's going on in those meetings. But yeah, it's been a really neat experience. I've learned a lot and have really built some really good relationships with people across campus
Great.
that I've been missing out on for the last 9 years. So
Well,
I'm grateful for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's stick with you for a little bit. What got you into athletic training?
Oh, that is a loaded question.
Oh, yeah, hey, I'm all
ready
about
for the
those.
loaded response?
Yes. By all
Bit
means,
of a
go.
Storyteller. Well, believe it or not, my dream growing up was I wanted to teach physical education, coach volleyball, eventually one day maybe be a college volleyball coach.
I never knew that about you.
Love volleyball, love it still to this day.
Okay.
So when I transferred, I played volleyball at a JUCO college in Minnesota,
Which Duke?
Ridgewater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were decent.
Good.
Transferred to MSUM for their physical education coaching major. Took a care and prevention of sports medicine class, and I loved it. Like, I nerded out about it big time.
Nerded
Taking
out. I love
angles.
that.
Like, it was just such an art, and to understand the body, how to do a special test and figure out maybe I know what's going on with you without having to send you to a doctor. I just naturally, grabbed onto it.
Right.
And so after one of our classes, Rhonda Peterson, at the time, who is an athletic trainer still to this day at MSUM, stopped me and said, "Hey, what's your major?"
Okay.
And I told her my major, and she was like, "You are in the wrong major. What do you know about athletic training?"
Okay.
And I'm like, nothing. I know nothing about athletic training. That day, she walked me down to Don Hammerschmidt's office. I know I'm name dropping, but these people are still at MSU.
No, that's great. That's great.
And I spent about 15 minutes with her.
Okay.
And I'm like, yep, I'm changing my major.
Wow.
And it just was natural. I loved it. Great experience in undergrad, and still to this day, almost 20 years later,
Right.
still loving it. So
Oh, don't date yourself or any of that
I
type of
dated
stuff.
myself. It's been done. So
Well, very cool. I never knew volleyball was a big thing of yours.
Yeah.
I never knew that. We've gone to Hawaii together. I still didn't even know that.
You never asked me that
I know,
question.
it's my fault.
Right.
I got to start diving into these things a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Kat, and we're okay with the short Kat,
Yeah,
right?
that
Okay.
works.
So you graduated, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go after 2018?
So after 2018, I chose to continue with athletic training and get my master's at NDSU.
Okay.
So I was there for 2 years, getting my master's in advanced athletic training. While I was there, I worked with the NDSU track and field team for 2 years. That was a really cool opportunity. Got to do some traveling there to some really unique U.S. destinations, and then also obviously learn a lot. Track and field is such a diverse sport, so you really get to see injuries, long distance injuries with like track and field and the other distance runners, and then obviously upper extremity injuries with throwers, things like that. So I just got invaluable experience there.
How many torn hamstrings did you see?
Quite a few.
Okay.
Hamstrings ended up kind of being my nemesis, that and shin splints while I was there.
Okay.
But
I was a track and field athlete in high school and 1 year in college, and my left hamstring is still messed up to this day, and the shin splints, like, I have an interesting story about shin splints. So we were at the state meet in Blaine, Minnesota. That's where they used to run the state meet in Minnesota. And we always, so my 4x1 team was really good, and we always got to go walk the track or practice the track the night before. And it was a different type of track, and then my shin splints would just go nuts that night. And we went there for 3 years in a row, so I knew the protocol. But the first year, we filled our tub in our hotel room full of ice, and we would kneel in it for about half hour. I'm not sure that was a good thing or a bad thing, but but we would sit there and kneel, and I have a picture with my teammates, and we just sit there and kneel in straight ice for a half hour just because my shin splints were so bad. And thank you. I'm thanking you for all the athletes that you have helped in regards to that, because we didn't have trainers back then.
I was going to say, did you have an athletic trainer?
No.
So I'm not about to date you, but
Okay.
I feel like I might.
Go ahead.
So what year did you participate in the state
You are
meet?
really dating me.
Because I participated in the state meet. In
Oh,
Blaine,
no,
too, 'cause
really?
I'm from Minnesota.
Really?
One in Minnesota.
I knew you were from Minnesota. I didn't know you participated in the state meet, though.
I
That's
did.
cool.
I
That's
didn't-
cool.
I mean, I didn't do great there, but
What was the high school?
New London Spicer.
Oh, my. Yeah. We used to, now New London Spicer, so I was in sprints, but New London Spicer was really good in long distance. Am I correct by saying that?
Oh, gosh, I don't.
Okay.
We got to solidify the date.
Okay.
What was the date?
I was trying to jump around it.
Yes, you know.
2000 through 2002. Is that not during your time? We won it in 2001 and 2002.
I already graduated. I was already playing volleyball at Ridgewater.
Okay. But hey.
99,
Okay.
2000.
Okay.
That's where I graduated.
You might have seen me in 2000.
Okay.
Were you in True Team also?
Was I in what?
True Team. So True Team was like the state. There's two. Yeah, see, Mitchell knows.
Compete against New London Spicer sports as well.
Okay.
St. Cloud.
St. Cloud Tech, right? You're a techie? Cathedral. I'm
Yep.
sorry. Cathedral. So there's two state tournaments in track and field in Minnesota. One's True Team. So they kind of, and that's not actually sponsored by MSHSL. That one is just, it's kind of like its own thing. And if you win that, they kind of do the point system differently. So like, let's just say I won the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, and the 4x1 and something. I could literally win the state meet for Plainview, Minnesota, just based on winning those 4 events. I could win the state tournament for Plainview.
Huh.
Like, that can happen. So what they designed True Team to do the point system different. So, like, there's not as much emphasis on just taking first place. There's third place, fourth place, and all that type of stuff. So that's what True Team was about.
When was that developed? I've never.
I don't know. I tell you the truth. Maybe it was like right when I was first coming about. I'm not sure. But then the other meet, which is in June, That's the MSHSL one, which is actually held at Hamline University now, which that's where I went to college. So go Pipes. But yeah, so those are interesting things. We got a little bit off topic, but that's cool. What's that? 2003 is what?
Okay, that's why.
Well, then how come I have 2001 and 2002 state medals? The what was? The LLC. Oh, so they actually got it official in 2003. Okay, so you're trying to say my state medals are not worth anything?
I think that's what we're saying here.
I have the MSHSL ones too, so I'm not going to sit there and say anything about that either. Okay, Google. But I have pictures and everything. It did happen.
I believe you.
Yeah. Anyways, so what got you into athletic training?
So when I came to VCSU, I was actually registered for exercise science.
Okay.
And Rochelle Hunt was my advisor.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of explaining that I wanted to go to physical therapy after I graduated from undergrad here.
Mm-hmm.
And exercise science is a great route to do that, but Rochelle suggested that I look into the athletic training route.
Mm-hmm.
And being from Canada, it's called athletic therapy in Canada, but I didn't know much about it. It's a little, I would say, less evolved than athletic training is down here. So I didn't know much about it when I came here, but needless to say, Rochelle convinced me to go into the program. And I just found myself loving it more than I thought I would. And instead of pursuing PT after my undergrad, I chose to do the master's in advanced athletic training. And here I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And you're from Canada?
Yep. Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Yep.
Okay. What was that like? I'm sorry. I'm gonna jump back and forth.
I'm
but
good with your talking right now. I'm like,
I just, it just, you said some interesting things there. So how was the transition from Canada to the United States?
Well, being that I'm from Saskatchewan, I found Saskatchewan and North Dakota to be very similar. Obviously, there's some political differences, things like that. There's no like ketchup chips things like that. So I had to get
That's a real thing.
had to get used to
Okay,
that.
so let's go into that ketchup and chips, right? So
it's better than it sounds.
Ketchup. So like actual potato
ketchup
chips.
Flavored potato chips. Yeah.
Ketchup flavored.
Yes.
Like they come in a bag or
yeah,
what?
like Lace.
I feel
Really?
like you're gonna have to bring them.
Yeah,
now.
all the major like
my
potato
daughter's
chip
gonna
brands
love it.
make ketchup chips.
Yeah, my daughter. So my daughter will like. It's gross, but she'll take spoonfuls of ketchup. She would do that if I said no. Like she loves ketchup, and I'm like.
Well, you got to get some ketchup chips for later.
Yeah,
Ketchup
we'll bring
chips.
you some ketchup.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hand them off. I'll have one and I'll hand it off. No offense.
You might
but...
like them more than you think you will.
So what other differences are there?
Oh gosh.
Sports?
You're
Is there like
putting me
a
on the
difference in
spot.
softballs or softball? I'm sorry.
Not so much a difference in softball. There's kind of different school sports and a different culture around school sports.
Really?
I noticed one other major difference I noticed was when I was in high school, I was on the badminton team.
Okay.
I actually went to provincials for badminton when I was in high school, and I brought my badminton racket when I moved into the dorms, and my roommate was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Well, I want to play like intramural badminton."
Okay.
She was like, so confused. But yeah, badminton's not a school sport down here, so that was one of the first things.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mitchell. You might not know. Did any of the city schools have badminton?
Not that I heard of.
Okay, I think in California it's a thing.
We only played that in gym class, unfortunately.
Oh, unfortunately, yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think we did it in gym class here too, and the guys just got out of control with it because they just tried to kill is it called a bird?
Birdie.
Birdie. And they would just try to kill that thing every time, and I was like, and am I saying they? I mean me. Like it's like playing baseball, Let's go back to you. So, you both of you are really busy right now. So how's the start of school been? I obviously we're recording this on the first day of school right now, being started up. But you gals have been here working, obviously, you work all the time. I'm not saying that, but officially, like the team showed up like August 3rd for football and volleyball, correct? Am I missing anybody other sport in there?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that we kind of stagger the season. Not everybody's showing up, but yesterday I think we had a rude awakening when we actually had all sports that could access the athletic training room and trying to hand in paperwork. It was like...
I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for my guys already. So.
Well, it was everybody involved trying to get their stuff in so that they can compete, so they can get in the weight room, so they can get conditioning. So we understand that's very important for our athletes, not to hold them back on the paperwork piece, but also how important that paperwork piece is for us on our end. And it gets a little hectic when you're talking about 275 athletes that will total. Maybe my number is wrong, but around that we're trying to get through paperwork. But it's been, you can disagree with me, but like I am just loving the start of this year. I have an excellent staff. The optics of it would be like, what did Anna do? Did she clean house? Because I have a whole new staff.
Yeah.
Not the case. We unfortunately
let's talk about that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I noticed when we were going through our introductions and our meetings and everything, we have a whole new athletic training staff this year. Yeah. And if you don't mind just saying their names and where they've been or whatever really quickly, and so everybody kind of gets to know them a little bit.
Yeah. So. Caitlin Smedley, she was a graduate assistant for me 3 years ago from NDSU. She was in the same major or the advanced master's class program that you were at, or Kat was at NDSU. Had her for a couple years. We're kind of in this weird like in between. I can't hire a full-time athletic trainer. Can I offer you like an internship position? Basically, not paying you that great, but offering you a great experience kind of a deal. And she jumped on board with us.
Isn't that how we all get into our profession?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I remember I get a call for a graduate assistant up at Bemidji State, and they're like, hey, it's a wonderful this and this. And now, you don't get paid, but we'll
horrible pay, but
but you're going to have fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's part of this. I mean, that's how you've gotten through. I mean, going to NDSU, all that stuff. You probably had to do it with what you were doing. I mean, you got to go through that and pay your dues, and then things start showing up when you get older, right? I mean, that's what I was told when I was being mentored to go into coaching. So sorry to cut you off but go ahead.
Good stuff. Yeah, and so Caitlin came from Washington, and I always know when I've got students that come in or new employees and they're so far away, I don't see longevity in them staying because they're young professionals getting on to where they want to go next. Not that VCSU, in my opinion, is amazing. I'm still here after 10 years, obviously.
Right.
Like, I really like it here. But, different demographics, different area of the country, young professionals tend to gravitate back towards that. And so Danny Kabata, she came to us from California. Yeah. She ended up going back to California for a job.
She did a great job for us.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
Good. Yeah.
So if Danny, if you do listen to this, we miss you.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Not to say that Dimitri and Danica didn't do a good job too, but we just want to make sure we extend that love.
And that's awesome. And that things like that is why we do what we do. Is just the gratitude. We don't expect to get rich off it, but making an impact on a coach's life, certainly our student athlete's life, is like just the reward itself. So she will definitely appreciate that, and I'll make sure to text her. Hey, you got on Ryan's podcast. But yeah, so she unfortunately moved back home. It was closer to home for her, a great career move for her. Same with Caitlin. Because her contract wasn't renewing, it was still this internship, kind of a weird position.
Yep.
And, she homesick and all that. And Danica, too. And it was especially hard for Danica because we've been together for the last 5 years. Just a special person to, I think, everybody that's ever met Danica.
Yeah.
Highly talented, highly motivated.
Never had a bad day, as I remember.
If she did, you weren't going to see it, or I'd see a glimpse of it, and we'd get right back into what we did. And, always, she was just a really good colleague in respect that, we worked football together, so I worked the closest with Danica. And she'd kind of jump on my crazy train of, hey, we're going to do this. What do you think about this? And I'm talking crazy train like professional goals, like dry needling, do the dry needling. How do you feel about that? Because it can be intimidating to learn new skills, also when they're a little bit more invasive in nature. And she was always like, heck yeah, we're doing it.
If I was putting needles in people, I would be a little nervous.
Oh.
And you should be nervous too if I was doing that to you.
Well, and funny enough, when Danica went to our dry needling class, which was super intimidating because we're the only athletic trainers in the room. It's all physical therapists and chiropractors.
Yeah.
And I remember us sitting there just like so scared, but like confidently scared. Like we're like, yeah, we got this. Like we're going to be so. And then the guy comes in to our class, takes out a needle, sticks it in the top of his head.
Whoa.
And we're like, okay, we like this.
Yeah.
This guy, we like this guy.
See, like that's the difference between like I'm a coach and trainers. I mean, you enjoyed watching a guy put a needle into his head. I'm running out the door going, not happening. Like I can't. Blood.
And so, and usually there's not blood associated with it. I mean, get a little bleeder every once in a while. And that's the funny thing is just the reaction from athletes. And I think I brought this up. I don't know if you were in there the other day. I'll have athletes that are like, they'll watch us do it. You know, some of our needles
are long.
They're long.
Yeah.
We got little ones. We got medium. Some of them are quite long, and depending on what area of the body we're using them on, I mean, they can look a little scary.
Intimidating.
And how many athletes have said, "You are never doing that to me"? And guess what? I've needled every one of those athletes. And I'll be like, remember when you said you're never going to do this? Yeah. And just, and understanding how effective it is. And the idea of it's more scary.
It's for blood flow, right?
Yeah, it helps promote healthy blood flow. It helps break up adhesions that happen underneath the skin between the fascia and the muscle and the skin. It's just the biggest effect of it is the promotion of healthy blood flow to areas like tendons and ligaments that don't have that supply. So you're stimulating a blood flow that is healthy, not caused by injury.
Oh, okay. We're getting technical here.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good stuff, though. Can you say that one more time so I can process that in my brain?
Probably not, because I probably lost all
It was
my,
something about like the tissue, like how you're affecting the tissue and improving the tissue by putting a needle into it.
Right. So like a lot of tendinopathies and issues that are chronic in nature are, they're injured. And when an injury happens, it's not healthy blood flow that comes to that area. It's full of histamines. It's just junk that gets just stuck in there if it's not rehabbed correctly or if it doesn't have the ability to mobilize out of that area.
Okay.
And then that's kind of when you end up with this chronic inflammation that just wants to sit around the tendon.
So it's the inflammation you're taking away by putting a needle into it.
Well, we're helping introduce healthy blood flow that will metabolize it. That inflammation out of the area. Then we can do things like Graston, some supervised physical therapy to help strengthen the muscle.
Okay.
And strengthen that tendon along tensile forces. And it's super effective.
Cool.
Very much so, yeah.
And I love that Kat does it too.
Okay.
That was one of the things that Danica left was my needling partner.
Oh, so you're certified in that too?
She is.
Yep.
Okay. Well, how did you get that? Like, did you do like the same class as her, or how did you do it?
It wasn't the same class, but a similar class.
Describe cupping. Is that what it's called? Cupping. So like I see my guys when they'll take off their shirt in the locker room and they have these like checkerboards on their back or whatever it is. What does that do?
Yeah. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, go for it.
I've been talking so much now. Let's see.
Go for it.
So a lot of the modalities do kind of have a similar idea how Anna described bringing that healthy blood flow to the area. So that's really what cupping does also. But you can do either kind of the suction cupping or fire cupping, and basically you're
fire cupping.
Space between.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep it going. I'm sorry.
You're creating. You're kind of pulling the skin away from the fascia and the other tissue that's underneath, creating space, and then bringing that blood flow to the area.
Okay.
So you can
It's like a reverse massage.
Okay.
You have the option, to if we're good, like if we're gonna do Graston, which Graston is a scraping tool, as it looks like.
Yeah.
We come out with our Graston instruments. It's like, what are you gonna do to me?
Yeah.
Because it's in this thing that we roll out, and it looks like knives.
Right.
And, first time, or athletes that get that for the first time, they always get this like, what's happening here? But the Graston is super effective.
It's not very. I've had Graston before, and it's painful.
It can be.
Well, if you have a lot of,
If you
like, what do I call knots in my back or whatever. And I remember like one of the first times I'm like, oh my God, that hurts.
Yeah.
But then the next day I'm just like, oh, that works.
And that's some things that what did I say this morning? Nothing like starting off your day than making an athlete cry at 9:45. But we know, reassuring our athletes and loving that our athletes trust us that, sometimes you got to hurt to heal.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be doing these things, and I certainly wouldn't prescribe something if I didn't know it was effective. And we're all, in that mindset. We don't like to torture you, even though it might appear it, and even though I might at sometimes laugh when we're doing some of the treatments, just because of the reaction our athletes give us can be so like animated and sometimes extra, depending on who it is. But they keep coming back, and we have got good positive outcomes from it. And again, love the trust that our athletes have in us to do these things.
By talking to you, and there's something popping in my head to both of you, are you two both one of those that can sit there and watch? Let's just say you're watching an NBA game or a football game, an NFL football game, and you see somebody totally dislocate their knee or their ankle, and you can rewatch that. Like you will go, and you just like you see.
What's the mechanism of
injury?
all
of your friends.
But as it like you see, like I think you're sick. Like I'm not trying to insult you or anything, but like you're the ones that can sit on your phone and like for like 20 times rewind that and go, oh yeah, this is what's going on here, and because I can when I watch it, I go. Oh. Like I can never watch that again because I was an athlete, and if I'm going to start thinking about my knee is going to do that.
Yeah.
But you both not enjoy, but you can watch that.
Well, we do have empathy for the athlete that received the injury, just to clarify.
Okay, just making sure. But like I've had discussions with people at a certain establishment, like at a bar or something, and be like. And we'd be sitting there going and be like, I can't watch that ever again. I'm going to puke or something like that. And then that other person's going, oh, this is so cool.
It's not for everybody. There are definitely times where I'm like, God, am I morbid? Like, why am I watching this again? And when I was at Concordia years ago, I taught a care and prevention class, and I'd always have like a special segment where I'm like, what injuries did I find?
Right.
I've had a couple students pass out in my class.
Oh.
And so I thought maybe I should rethink the video, but I don't. I just keep going, and I do like a disclaimer. Like, if you feel like you're going to faint, just let me know, but I am showing these videos.
This video still exists?
Oh, yeah. There's just so many. One of my favorite videos, I don't know if I should share this because it does sound morbid, but it's one of the things I think is so awesome about how valuable and important athletic trainers are, and that they're not there just to supply water, tape your ankles. They save your lives, and you never know when something's going to happen. And it's a hockey video. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but a goalie, and it's an old dated video. And
I'm not going to look it up. So
okay.
But keep telling me about it.
The athletic trainer that was working, have I showed you this video? Do you know what I'm about to talk about right here?
You guys are going to go and research this for an hour.
I'm going to have to show you afterwards.
Sure.
It's worth a Google.
Okay.
But the athletic trainer at this hockey game was Vietnam vet, right? So he's trained in combat.
Okay. He's
dealing
seen
with
some stuff.
Yeah, he's seen some stuff. And but anyway, so that's his kind of backstory. But the goalie got his throat sliced by the blade that came in, and the athletic trainer right away just knew what could have possibly happened, knew what happened, and ran right on the ice, grabbed up in his carotid artery, pinched it off, and escorted the athlete off the ice.
This was a goal. Okay, I remember seeing this from a lineman or something. Like he wasn't the goalie, or best way to describe it. I don't know positions in hockey very well. I'm a basketball guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, one guy fell forward and his skate came up and nicked him right here, and they grabbed it right away. They were on top of it. But this one was a goalie.
Well, maybe
it was the same one.
A hockey player. I'm gonna say goalie because that would pop to my mind. They all look the same out there.
No.
But got hit with and they climbed it off right away and got him off.
You never thought
ice.
If you think about hockey, we would never think going into a game that would be possible.
Yeah.
But then you think about it, you're like, it should be possible because they're running around on razor blades.
Yeah. Messed me up in my younger days as a scared green athletic trainer when I started covering youth hockey right out of college, where I'm like, somebody's carotid's going to get sliced today. I got to be ready for that. Or
you're on high alert.
Somebody's going to break their spine, especially when young kids are, flying headfirst into the boards because they have no body control and checking from the back. And hockey is definitely one of the sports I'm good if I don't have to cover again. I had an athlete that got his wrist sliced open when they were changing out. He had his guards off. Guy slid it over the top, slid his wrist. I'm like, all right.
Oh my gosh.
We'll probably some pressure on that.
Wow.
So, yeah, you just don't know what could happen.
My daughter
out there.
just recently asked me like 2 weeks ago, "Can I play hockey?" We're not.
try
We're gonna.
something
We're gonna try to jump around that one the parent way. Right? Would you like more Play-Doh?
Yeah.
So I'll give you that if you don't go play hockey. We're gonna try to do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a more catastrophic sport.
Yeah.
There's just some sports that you're going to see more crazy injuries. And
Wow.
let me tell you, I have seen more injuries that I thought I'd ever see.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a great thing to see them, but things that they tell you in undergrad that you would never see that I've been, just again, sounds terrible. I've been lucky to witness and be a part of.
Yeah,
But,
that's
yeah.
just part of the job. My brother's a firefighter, so he's a full-time firefighter in La Crosse, and he's seen some stuff over the last 5 years that he tells me about, and you can tell when you see him or something that he's had a bad day, and you know that isn't.
Yeah.
He's seen something that you don't ever want to see or whatever it is, but he likes to talk about it. Like he's like passionate about what he does, and I'm sensing that about you. It's like you're just passionate about what you do, and that's interesting. And that's what it should be about. So don't feel offended. Like don't feel like it's bad that you say something like that. You take pride in what you do.
I don't, but I just don't want listeners to think like, oh, she's just waiting for somebody.
No,
that's not what I
no.
want ever. But
We all know
but
you.
I'll tell
So
when those things do happen, and I've always been blessed with a really good staff. Our reaction to emergency situations, I feel like, have always been really good and on point, and I'm always impressed with my staff's ability to just lock in, and we just all know what we're doing, and because you just never know when something's going to happen. And but yeah, I can't ever watch a basketball game or a football game. I don't like watching sports at home. Like I hate it. My husband loves it. Like that's
That's
sports
his getaway.
nonstop. It's golf all day Sunday.
Right.
It's football. Now we're in football. He's got his drafts coming up this weekend.
Ooh.
So lots of sports in my house, and I'm more of a Netflix lady, but I can't watch the sports without just feel like I'm working. Like I'm waiting to see.
I'm
like
the same way.
It's like a weird thing that goes on in my head, but also at the same time, my husband will be like, Anna, come out here, take a look at this. Rewind. What do you think happened to his knee there? I think he's going to be out next
So
week.
he's actually he'll watch that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
he's sick.
not the really nasty ones, but
Okay.
I mean, if he's got a guy maybe on his fantasy league that he's not sure if he should start or not,
He's using
he'll
you.
ask- basically. He might ask me what I think, what's my impression of this injury.
I
Does he need
never
to start
thought of
looking
that.
For another guy?
I never thought of that. I have all these resources at my disposal in
Yeah.
regards to my fantasy stuff.
Yep.
And I'm just going to start calling you and be like, hey, so-and-so has a this, and this. What does that actually mean? How many weeks are we out here?
Right. Is he a game time decision, or is he going to be available?
You're going to be annoyed.
I probably would. I get enough from my husband to, but he knows so much about what I do anyway. He already diagnoses the injury before I can even give him my impression.
Well, that's pretty cool.
He took that care and prevention class with me in college when we were dating. So
Okay.
yeah,
I took
helped
care
him.
and prevention too, and I don't remember a dang
Oh, it's my
thing.
favorite
So
class.
that's good. Hey, everybody, like some certain classes just click.
Yeah.
Like exercise physiology was mine. Like for some reason I'm getting an A+ in this class, and I can't. Never has this been something like this easy to me. Exercise physiology was easy to me. I'm like, I don't understand
That's
that.
your calling. That's
Right.
what you.
I became a coach.
Well, you're in the realm.
I'm in the realm.
You're in and around it.
Yep.
So
So we only have like how much time do we have left, Mitchell? Just so I'm.
A little over half. We got 23 minutes.
23 minutes left. Okay, we're still going. Okay, pretty cool. I just wanted to make sure we weren't running in over time on us, but because he's usually like snapping and doing puppets and all that kind of stuff, telling me we're getting close, and I'm like, okay. So I was trying to be ahead of that this time. We're getting into our first football game. Now, this will get aired probably a little bit after, we'll probably be like 3 football games in or something. That's when this will happen. But how hectic is it right now going in 2 days before the first football game? And I don't talk about who's injured or any of that type of stuff because, it will be aired after, but somehow this will get leaked. I know I'm being a little bit paranoid, but the Jimmies will somehow get this tape and then they'll be like, out. But we don't want to do that. But how hectic is it right now?
Oh.
Just your body language there.
Why don't you just walk in the athletic training room today at 2:30 and you tell me how hectic
I'm gonna
it
do
is
that.
in there?
I'm
and
gonna do that.
go, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a group of athletes in here this morning, and I said, gosh, isn't it nice to just do one-on-one treatments with just
And it's calm.
one-on-one,
Mhm.
not five guys on one table trying to hook up to one stim machine and, trying to tape guys and then in between twisting needles and, being like all over the place. So it's nice that we have our morning treatment times with our athletes.
Okay.
So that kind of helps decrease the amount of clutter in the afternoon, but it is chaos. We've got all our sports starting now. But
Well, let's just talk about football.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's a big thing Thursday. It's the Egg Bowl.
yeah.
Okay. I know like how important your positions are because you get to put my players on the floor. Okay. So what I'm trying to get at is how much pressure are you two under right now to make sure that everybody's ready to go on Thursday?
Well, I had Coach Horner in my office before this meeting, so
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're sitting in a good spot. Like, our guys are really good about coming in and taking care of their body. Recovery has been a huge piece of preseason that I think they've done a really nice job at. Our coaches have done an excellent job adjusting things in practice if we need to and letting us do our thing to get those men back out on the field and have our we want our best out there.
Yeah.
And they trust the process. Coach Mack and Coach Horner, the entire football staff, VCSU coaches in general, they're great to work with. There's always this perception like, oh my God, you must feel so much pressure. You must have so much stress. Well, yes, there's pressure and stress, but that's athletics. Like, and you, in a little way, get a thrill of it. Like, can I get this guy ready for next week? And everybody trusts the process, and that's where we're going into this game on Thursday, that we're trusting the process, and hopefully we're going to have all of our best out there, or at least do our best to
put the best product on the
I'm like,
on the
how
field.
many more times do I say best?
Well,
I felt like I've already overused the word.
No, you're great. I just want everybody to understand like how important, like, a lot of people, the head coach is going to get the blame or the gratitude to win and do all those things, but there's so many people that are, not the focal point of the program, in terms of like, Mac is going to, on Thursday, he's going to be a big focal point. Even Coach Horner, he's going to be a big focal point. But the stuff behind the scenes of like what you gals are doing to make sure that they have their best players ready to go right now is probably, I'm not going to say you're working 24 hours a day, but I'm saying 18. There's you might have 6 hours where you can go to sleep and just not have to worry about certain things at that point. But then you probably wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh crap, I could have done this or something like that too. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that is happening right now at a very high level to make sure that everybody's ready to go for Thursday. Because Thursday's a big day.
Yes.
And
it is.
I just know, like, I'm not in season technically right now, but I know all my guys are here now, and we're starting to get going in strength and conditioning and all those kinds of things. And I know we get into that game week, things just get heightened. It's like the talks get faster. The tones get a little more firm, all the above, and I just wanted to know what you're kind of going through right now, and make sure that everybody understands that what you're going through right now is not easy.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was trying to get at right there.
I think it could be a lot uneasier at maybe somewhere else, but like I said, very blessed to work with the people that
Coach
I do.
Mack and Coach Horner and all those guys.
Yeah, they'll question, they'll ask.
Yeah.
I might get like a head rub from Mac. I might get looking up at the ceiling from Mac. I'll get the head nod from Mac. But he trusts the process, and it wouldn't be the first time that I've had a situation where maybe a coach didn't like what I had to say about the availability of their player.
We never do.
But just knowing at the end of the day, they know we're all on common ground.
Like,
try to do the right thing, and
right.
I expect you to react. I don't expect you to be like, yes, our starting quarterback's not available. Cool.
It's a hard thing. That conversation has got to be one of the hardest things that I would think a trainer would have to go through, is to come up to a head coach or whatever and say, your best player, your most impactful player is not going to be available on that day. My emotions are usually, take a breath, count to 10, take 5 minutes, then evaluate and view it as a challenge.
Yeah.
Maybe this can get to show how good of a coach I can be, those types of things. That's kind of how I do it. But there is that 5-minute period where I need to say, okay, why? And I don't blame you. I don't blame anybody. I kind of look up at the sky and go, why are you doing this to me right now?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I go.
That is a speech that I give to students, even to us as colleagues. Like, you can't take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to pull an athlete or pull a guy in the heat of a moment, at a game, at a very close game.
Right.
I cringe. I'm cringy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's part of the job. And just to know that it's not a personal attack.
No.
It is a natural, competitive,
Arena.
emotional reaction.
Right.
And I know at the end of the day, they still got love for me, so I'll be okay. Yeah.
Well,
And I wanted to circle back to this because we talked about my staff for a little bit, but I don't want to forget to mention our other new hires.
Yep,
too. Demetrius Hospitalis, that is working football with me.
Yep.
Which has been really nice too, to have somebody who's also from California.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Danica's from California. So
we introduced him to our team last night, and he did a great job.
Yeah, and I think he's a great fit here. He did his capstone with us last year and just kind of was sold on.
He's an ex-cop.
Yeah.
And Marine?
Yeah.
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 I think my guys, when they heard that, they kind of gave it one of these, and I was like,
yeah. Yeah, he has definitely some life experiences, and
right.
to make a big career change, from the military to the cop, to being
right.
a cop, and then now being an athletic trainer, and everything that went into his education.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's got 3 kids. He's got 2 littles. They brought
He's
him to
busy.
work the other day. They're super cute.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an easy field to get into. And you almost want to be like, are you crazy for being athletic? It's like, it's lots of hours.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's travel.
Yep.
You're not going to get rich off it.
Yep.
So it really takes a special person, I think, to want to be a part of that. I think athletics in general.
Right.
It's you just really have to love what you're doing to make all the sacrifices. But he has just fit in so well. Our athletes really respond well to him. He's got that drive and that enthusiasm and excitement, as well as to get into the dry needling, spinal manipulation.
That just doesn't sound good. Spine manipulation. Is it spinal manipulation?
Yeah, it's so fun. I'm going to do that after
It's
this.
so fun.
Treat on my neck a little bit.
She's got a little bit of a tension headache, so I'm going to crack her and stick her.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Let's go to you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Was
Connor.
there Connor?
No,
I'm sorry. One
Connor.
more.
Connor's a new grad, too. They actually graduated from the same program at NDSU.
Okay.
We're super excited about him as well. I kind of pursued him a little bit.
He's the young one, right?
Yes, he is. He's the bebe in the department. No, he is our young guy, and he's also from Minnesota, Glenwood area.
Okay.
He's going to be working with the baseball team this year, so I already think he's a great fit there, and we're super excited to have him as well. And he's very much interested in, the manipulation and the dry needling and anything else that we can do to make ourselves, better for our student athletes. And so I love that about my staff, that they're all like, heck yeah, let's do it.
Sounds like a rejuvenated, not to say that what you had previously needed rejuvenation or anything like that, but it sounds like a rejuvenated athletic training room right now.
Yeah, it's just a change, and change is always scary because you don't know if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. And, it's nice, to lose what I had was very difficult for me.
Yeah.
It was difficult for our athletes, our coaches, but it feels so nice to have staff that we all have a common goal, and with my roles changing as an associate athletic director, to have that support from my staff and the strength that each one of them bring, I'm so grateful. And Kat's a blessing. I basically had to call her to get her to come here to take a chance on us.
Recruiting.
Yep, I recruited. Heavily, and I recruited, whether Demetrius thinks he did or not, I recruited him, and I recruited Connor. So
you're good
I
at
got
it.
all my recruits. I'm very convincing.
Yep.
So.
Sorry, one quick thing here. I'm not trying to ignore you, but my next guest is texting me right now, so I'm just making sure he's all okay. So, but Kat, you're doing volleyball right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we haven't got into the volleyball side of things and what's going on there, and you've already 2 matches. I'm sorry.
We had a home scrimmage last Monday, and then the team was in Orange City, Iowa this past weekend, where they swept Briarcliff, and then had a little bit of a tougher one against
Northwestern.
Yeah, but they
my question for
on the
you
grade squad.
is, have you ever been an athletic trainer for any volleyball or anything yet, or anything? Or is this
Not
your first volleyball team?
specifically. Yeah, this is my first volleyball team that I'm kind of fully responsible for. I did have some experience with volleyball as a student at VCSU, just kind of helping out with the team. Had a very well-rounded experience, kind of working with all of the athletes that we had here 5 or 6 years ago,
Right.
7 years ago. But yeah, no, I'm excited. Volleyball's a fun sport to watch, and got a lot of shoulders. And
So that staff, Coach Micklejohn. Sorry, I keep want to always say Meekle. I don't know what the heck that is. Coach Micklejohn. Sorry if I keep butchering your name. She's brand new. You're brand new. The assistant coach is brand new.
Jaden.
There's some new recruits. I mean, there's a lot of new going on there. Is everything? It's going pretty smoothly so far. All that.
Yeah, I think the girls are. I mean, I wasn't here last year, but it seems like the girls are adapting really well to Coach Micklejohn's style. Practices have been going really, really well. I've heard nothing but good things and excitement about her leading our squad. So,
What's a common injury in volleyball that you will see?
dealing with a lot of shoulder injuries.
I was just gonna
now.
say rotator
And a
cuff
few-
or that type of stuff.
Yep. A few kind of low back things, some shins. Nothing too crazy though. Everyone's doing really well.
Cool. I was just gonna ask, going back to this. Everybody has a favorite sport. Okay. Okay. Now, and I'm not trying to sit here and say I'm jealous or any of those types of things, but football usually demands a lot of athletic training, right?
Yeah.
Is it because that it's the most physical sport out there? Is that why it draws so many athletic trainers to it? Is that the reason?
Yeah, I mean, how we provide our sports medicine coverage and kind of like what our model, what we use for here is that we triage our athletic trainers to the sports that are the most catastrophic.
Right.
And I'm sure
Yes.
Horner and Mac do not like me using the word catastrophic, but for medical purposes, it's considered to be at like a higher risk, more catastrophic
Yep.
categorically.
Collision,
Contact,
sport, yep.
where there's just a higher risk involved. Also, we're talking about 100 men out there
Yeah.
that are playing, that are practicing, and then then some of the amount of bodies that are out at the games and stuff. So you're going to need more hands on deck, but I would say if you compare it to all sports based on roster size, we got about the same amount of injuries that are coming through the athletic training.
Really?
group.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to get at.
Yeah, it's not like, if you play football, you're going to get injured.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, we've got 100 men.
Yep.
And I know I said we're taking care of at 1.37.
Mm-hmm.
But, I've taken care of a women's basketball team, and I've had all but one of them in there.
Yeah. And that was like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's been a couple of stints where it's like, I love Coach Johnson, and I think she's very receptive of everything I have to tell her. But I started getting to a point where I was actually scared to go in there. And I'm like, well, today you don't have, pen goes up in the air. Well, but again,
You were the
great.
bearer of bad news.
But, they always figured it out, and they kept going and dealing with a lot of adversity. And all of our coaches do that. They go, well, okay, this is what I'm dealing with today, and yeah, that's
Cool.
where.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that there's a lot of things that go into football, but in terms of the other sports too, like the ratio of the amount of injuries that you will deal with, it's not just like your break time that you're not dealing with football now. There is a big high demand in the other sports too. Because I have always thought about athletic trainings, I resort to football because it's really combative and I'm gonna rip that guy's shoulder, and do that kind of stuff. Where basketball, I'm guessing ankles, shoulders, all those things are just constant mess.
Yeah.
And doing that, I am getting the puppet master to wave at me now, right? Mitchell, how much time do we have?
You got 7 minutes of record time.
Okay.
Like a
5-minute window. Okay. But I wanted to give you this opportunity to kind of just to talk about boost your program and what you have available to the athletes or to anything that you want to talk about really quickly. And then we'll sign off.
Yeah.
But what about the athletic training program here do you want to talk about?
Okay.
or room. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about answering this question? I feel like I've done all the talking, but I am the talker.
That's all right.
But,
I mean, we have touched a little bit on some of the great things that we can offer our athletes.
That's what, yeah.
Between the modalities, and then Anna being able to do spinal manipulation, other things like that.
So all the traditional modalities that we offer are.
And what is that? What do you say? You say modalities?
Modalities.
What are those?
Okay, what's the definition of modality?
Oh gosh.
If Rochelle is watching this,
See,
she's
like-
nope, that's not it. I know what a modality is.
You can just give a brief
So like a
description.
Tool?
Tool?
Or like a.
Oh boy, you can edit this out.
No, that's all
What is
right.
it? Okay, so like modality.
You guys speak in another language, so
Yeah.
that's good.
There is a specific definition for it, but when we say modalities, we're talking about things like ultrasound,
Okay.
E-stim, an ice pack.
Okay.
So it'd be something like alters your body. Oh no, we're just making. I went from being like super smart to like.
No, you're.
Like-
You know, when you talk like that, I just feel like I'm not as smart as you because you have a different language that you speak in, and I'm
Right.
like, okay, cool.
So our modalities, so ultrasound, stim, game ready,
Okay.
the hot packs, cold tubs, fire cupping, suction cupping, Graston.
Yeah.
All of those are considered modalities.
And we have all of
And we
those
have all of
available
those.
to
Yeah.
us at VCSU for athletics.
Yeah, and we're constantly trying to find ways to upgrade our facilities and offer more recovering. Like we just got a BFR system,
Which is
blood flow restriction, which our athletes love. I think we got a handful of guys on the football team that are almost obsessed with it.
Okay.
But it's a great way to load the body, to challenge the body without, like, oh my gosh, how do you?
When you're using BFR, you can challenge muscularly without loading so much.
Okay.
So like
That's
the
what I was
heavy
trying to get
weights.
at. Right
Yeah.
there you go. See, thank you.
You can do a lot more with a lot less when you're using BFR.
pretty cool.
Yeah, and hoping to look to get a Normatec system for which I know that's going to be like nonstop usage.
Yeah.
I see that primarily with
gonna be
basketball.
popular.
That's gonna be,
Oh.
very popular. And that's intermittent compression. That just helps, help your body just get rid of the toxins, lymphatic drainage, do things that just help us get back to more of a normal state when we, break our bodies down with practices or games, competitions wise. But
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's really nice that you guys have all of these things available to our athletes because it does matter in our recruitment and all that stuff especially for parents, when I can walk the mom and dad in there and be like, hey, we take care of them, all this stuff. I know nothing about it, but it's here. And then obviously we have a good partnership with Sanford Health, an orthopedic surgeon that comes over all the time, and team doctors and all those
Dr.
types
Horner,
of things.
That's local out of Valley City, that stands at our sideline for football games, does weekly or every other week training room visits, depending on what the need of our student is, always accessible to. If we have a question about an athlete, we just try to make it as it's stressful enough being a student athlete, just being a student, but then a student athlete. And to be able to take care of yourself for the first time maybe in your life, really, we're kind of an extension of the family to make sure you're getting the things that you need without having to stress about it. It's already stressful enough if you are injured. On top of all those other things, let's just try to ease the process. And a lot of these things can be done free of charge, too, with our doctor visits that come and our surgeons that can give consults. And just having direct access is pretty invaluable, what we've been able to do with Sanford. So.
Well, we thank you. We thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for coming on the podcast. We'll get this out, and we're glad you're around.
We did it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Just made for earning. Who are they really serving? I want big smoke. Wolfing on the net, but up in person, they got strep throat. Hit and make a lot of threats, but they don't never step though. Yeah, I'm a believer, by my dollars feel like Creflo. They gon' say that I